Welcome back to Orks Discuss, the mildly educational program where orcs discuss various philosophers, thinkers, and historical figures. Today they discuss Joan of Arc.
Zork! Hey, Zork! Hey, Finky Pants! You come and help me wrangle the squigs that got out of their pens and into the Yumi district? I was actually hoping to talk to you about some Yumi historical stuff. Cause this story is really weird. I ain't too busy. Sure, what weird Yumi story you got for me? You sure you ain't busy with the squig wrangling? The Yumis will be fine. All they gotta do is avoid the bitey part of the squig, and then they'll be fine. Ain't squigs mostly bitey parts? Are you gonna tell me this stupid story or not? Okay. So this story takes place near the end of the 100 Years' War. So me? The Yumis had a war that lasted 100 years? Oh, that's pretty proper. I didn't know Yumis had the jimmies to fight for that long. I'm pretty sure the Yumis been fighting for the past 10,000 years. Fine, whatever. Did they give the big war a proper name? The 100 Years' War. Yeah, that one. They called it the 100 Years' War. They had 100 years to come up with a name for the war, and that's what they came up with? I think you're getting distracted from the important part of the story. Oh yeah! Who is this Joan of Arc kid anyways? Well, Joan of Arc was a Yumi girl who was a grot in some place called France. And the French boys had been fighting the England boys in this big war. Why do we care about some Yumi grot girl? So the French boys had been losing this war to the English boys. So Joan of Arc decided she was gonna go to the head knob of France. Now this knob, which the French boys called a dauphin, was supposed to be a boss. But the Yumis couldn't give him his special boss hat until the French boys took back Reims, and then he could be named French boss. So Joan goes in with no boys, no gubbins, no nothing, saying that the god of the Yumis told her to show up and save France. So first thing that happens is that the dauphin tries to test Joan. Joan comes into the room with all the other French knobs and has to figure out which one is the dauphin. The dauphin thinks she ain't gonna be able to find him on account of him not having his boss hat yet. But she finds him, and then he agrees to speak with Joan privately. No Yumi knows what was said at that meeting. But the dauphin gives Joan a bunch of boys and plenty of gubbins and says go get me the fancy boss hat from the England boys. And then what happens? She goes and she gets the hat back. First she goes to a place called Orleans and she beats back the England boys that was trying to break through the stronghold there. Then she defeated the England boys at the Battle of Patay, which let the French boys take over Reims, which is where the Dauphin finally got his fancy boss hat and became war boss of France. Then did she crump the rest of the England boys all the way back to England? No, not exactly. She tried to fight the Burgundy boys, which was a clan that was on the England boys' side, and during the fight she got nicked. Then the England boys burned her alive on account of heresy. Oh, Yumis, always burning gets on account of heresy. Well, that was a short story. Why is she so important? Well, mostly because what happened was so weird. Some French grot girl shows up, she talks to the Dauphin, and then for no reason other than she says that the Yumi god told her to do this, she goes and crumps some England boys, and then gets the Dauphin's fancy boss hat back, something that none of the other boys and knobs of France were able to do. Yeah, that is weird. I guess Yumi grots, boys, knobs, and bosses ain't all that different. Well, I mean, they's mostly all the same size. Sometimes bosses are even smaller than the grots. Yumis don't make no sense. If Joan of Arc was a proper orc, she would have been the big boss and knocked heads together until she was Frad's boss. Yeah, maybe. I think some of those Yumis didn't learn to stay away from the body parts of the squig. Fine. Let's go wrangle 'em. Zog, I wish I could get me a fancy hat. That squig hat on your head ain't fancy enough. Oh, that's not a hat. That's just a squig that bit me head a while back. Doc says I can't take it off without some of me brain coming with it. Oh.
This has been Orks Discuss. Thank you all for listening. A reminder, if you are being chased by an angry squig, make sure you have meat to throw at it in order to distract it from eating you. If you do not have any meat on your person, try throwing a neighbor that you don't really care for. Farewell and good night.